I need to buy zip-up boots. It's just annoying to put boots on.
Yeah, that's why I only have slip-ons. But that's why I went to this guy. Like, and they're nice leather. Like,
what's the Thursday boots? Do you guys get ads for those? Just me? Thursday Boots is the name of the company. They're just like boots. It's a boot company. Anyways.
No, it's a stiletto company.
Well, yeah, that too. They sell both, dude. It's all encompassing.
yeah.
It's your one-stop shop, dude. It's like Amazon Prime.
I guess so.
Welcome to the Slightly Serious Sign Podcast, episode 43. Tyler, be quiet. I'm in the introduction.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you were doing the intro.
What do you think I'm talking about?
Okay, I'm ready.
Come on. Again, sorry about Tyler's interruption. Welcome to the Slightly Serious Sign Podcast, episode 43, brought to you by Laminacore, especially Don Long, our number one listener, number one comment taker. Brought us these like cheap looking cups. Give us
nice,
his hat.
We were nice to him the first
Look at
time.
this
And
thing.
then
Yeah. Look at this thing.
Yeah, what is this?
It's not even like it doesn't even hold my monster, Don. Like, what's going on here?
I think it would.
This is you know what? This is Canadian soda. They're only allowed to have 8 ounces at a time, probably up there.
Oh yeah, they got limited.
Is that Canadian soda?
Hey.
Like they can't have the big gulp up there, I don't think.
So the 52 ounce has been banned.
And then once again, there's Don, jar of nuts. But we appreciate you, Don. We love the core you sell. Damn, he's gonna comment on it now.
He'll comment on that one.
It's fluted. What is it? What's
corrugated plastic.
No, it's corrugated plastic.
Corrugated. Yeah.
So it's not core.
Shout out Laminacore.
Laminacore.
It says it on both cameras. Hopefully you can see it.
Family owned. Guy, his wife, his daughters, great people. And then Don.
Yeah. Great people, then Don. Love you too, Don. Love you too, Don.
I tell you what, now Don's one of my favorite people to go out to dinner with. Like he brings some good place. He knows the places.
Yeah,
well, yeah,
Bahama
he's been
Breeze.
around.
He did bring us to Bahama Breeze, but it was all right.
I like Bahama Breeze.
But he'll bring you to some like
shrimp.
places in Chicago where we went in it's full reservations. Like you can't get in. Somehow me and Don ended up at the bar. Like, no, reservations are full. I have Don Long with me.
Yeah, don't you know? I have Don with me. Open up a table.
All right, let's get started. Let's get this one done. This is part two.
Part two of our extended Q&A episode. Again,
because you guys got a little long-winded in the last one.
Yeah, someone kept talking about just off-topic stuff. It's getting out of control. So.
We talked about hunting. I get excited.
I know. So again, we will be doing a new Q&A episode on episode 50. And it's really hard to work around here. Let me tell you, this work environment. Episode 50, we're doing another Q&A episode. So submit your questions to email above my head, podcasts@wensco.com, or just reach out to me if you know who I am. Most of you probably do that are going to submit questions anyway. So, but yeah, we'd love to answer them. And then again, we'll do a special episode on episode 52. So look for that with Judy, who I just saw actually when we were walking back here.
Judy's here.
So,
yeah. I was supposed to meet with her. I guess you have to wait.
Well, she's here. So
Well, she got.
I thought you had it written down on the planner.
No, she did this last minute.
the planner's useless. What is he even using it for? All right, this one is going to be marketing and sales specific. So if you care about marketing or sales, if you have a small sign shop or a large sign shop, hopefully this will be helpful to you. So first question. This question comes from James at Firesprint. So shout out to Firesprint. He was supposed to send me more questions. Maybe he did. I'll look in a second. But anyways, he sent a bunch of questions related to sales and marketing in terms of how we do it or what he recommends and all that good stuff. So the first one, a little too technical for my background, but we'll pretend that I know what he's talking about.
Well, we'll make it up.
Yeah, I'll just make it. That's what we said on episode 1,
That's why it's
right?
slightly serious.
If we don't know
Make
the
it up.
answer,
We'll make it
we're
up.
just going to make it up and sound like we know what we're talking about. So anyways, what KPIs do you use to measure the overall effectiveness of marketing?
So key performance indicators. What do we do?
You're so smart.
Well, we definitely look at
some things
views.
some things you can see. Like, okay,
Right.
you ran a Google ad and you sold this much.
Yep.
Right.
But when it comes to a show, and this is where CEOs and CFOs think shows are stupid because, like, do you know what you actually sold at the show? No. Do you
Not
know what you
anymore.
actually did? Like, you look at me going to SEMA. Do I ever sell anything at SEMA? No. But am I making relationships when we move into those areas that those people instantly go over and it saves you that many sales calls? Yes. How many people are talking about you? So like key performance, there's a lot that you have to trust marketing.
Yeah.
You have to trust that you're doing the right thing. Pay attention to it, but trust you're doing the right thing, because you're not going to get, there's not going to be an ROI of everything that you do.
Right.
Like you got to cramp.
That's funny.
You got to be, you got to just trust what your team is doing and have a good guidance, and don't let up. Like I see like one of our competitors, like they start to copy us, which they should copy us. Like, not the person you're thinking of, like,
No, I know who you're talking about.
but they start doing it and then they give up on it because someone must have come in like, hey, this is stupid. But no, you're doing it right. Like you're like, and then and I watch their views, like they're getting good views. And then they go back to being like this corporate place that's doing a corporate ad and no views.
Yeah.
And it's like, what did you want your marketing team to do? Like you obviously, if nobody's looking at it, you're not selling anything. If a bunch of people are looking at it, but you're not really selling a product, at least they're looking at your company.
Yeah,
and it's on your mind.
That's what I was talking about, the numbers that you there are certain things that you can see number wise, whether it's working or not. And that's a perfect example that if we do an ad and or even on our banner and we can see who's clicking, when they click, how many clicks, everything. So if there's a banner that doesn't get that attention that we're looking at, either we are sending the wrong message or the wrong graphic, or we're not giving into the correct details of what we're trying to do. And that's how we learn again. But those are the KPIs is how many clicks, who's going where, what are they doing? Those kind of things. So there are some numbers, but if you want to create those, you have to understand that not only numbers are a big key to it, but like you were saying, that it's a relationship building with a customer of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And so you can't quantify that, but eventually when a product comes online, and a new product or whatever, if it starts to roll with it, then you know that you're doing the right thing. But if it doesn't take off, then we might have to tweak some little things here and there to make it work.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it like, so there's sometimes like the things that we track, like that I'm actually looking at, are pretty small actually. Like what I'm really looking at is how many new customers are signing up. Is that number growing or shrinking? If it's shrinking, obviously we're doing something wrong on just the general awareness of Wensco, right? Mm-hmm. Something's wrong there. And then how many people are ordering on the web, and basically what percentage of that is on the web. If that number goes down, my assumption is people aren't finding what they need on the web, or the web is too difficult to use. If that's the case, then obviously we need to make some adjustments there. Those are the main things that I'm looking at, honestly. Like, am I looking at every social media post that goes out? Not really. Like, I'm looking at the ones that do well and be like, hey, how do we do more of these? But really, I'm just looking at it like, if those numbers are good, then obviously the rest of the stuff is working, right? So if we're getting a lot of signups, sure, maybe shows are not a great use of our time from what it seems like. But if new customers keep signing up and we don't really know where they're coming from, it's probably somewhere in that realm, meaning something is working, obviously. So those are the main ones. But yeah, I mean, you don't always know. And the same thing, like sometimes it's if you won't know what works if you don't try, at least, right? Like
that's where you get a lot of...
Look at the shows that we go to that we're not even in their area.
100%. I mean, last year, we did 10, 11 shows last year. It was a lot of shows last year. And we're doing 4 maybe of them this year. So it's like, was that a fail? Not really. I mean, we probably got a customer or a couple customers between those 6 shows that end up in the long run, when we talk about what they actually spend year over year, they'll probably pay for those shows long term. But is it something we want to do every year? Not a great use of our time.
Yeah, but when you go to these shows and you start hearing, oh, I wish you were in here. I wish you were here. I wish you were here. I only deal with a company. I need more options, those kind of things. It's good to even be there and listen to that, because we're testing that market. We're trying to see whether or not we need to venture out in that area.
Yeah. That's what the franchise shows have been great for that too. Everyone at the franchise shows is like, hey, are you guys coming to our area? And you're just taking note, like, hey, I mean, that's why like Economy Sign Supply is a perfect example of that, right? Like everyone at the show that came to us that was in Florida was like, hey, you guys coming to Florida? We don't have very many options. And that was before they opened Orlando, was the Fast Sign show. And we're like, do you guys deal with Economy? Like if you don't, they're there as well. Like you might not know, they're relatively new, but reach out to them. Like they'll be a great asset.
They'll take care of you.
But it's great for us, right? When you're hearing like Southern Ohio or Wisconsin, where it's close and you can look at it like, okay, obviously there's a lot of need in these specific areas. Let's look at where we want to go next. So that's another added benefit of doing shows besides getting business.
Got to grow.
So,
Yeah, what I was going to say earlier is there's some CFOs or CEOs that will they want to see performance on your marketing. So well, just go down this lane and then we can tell if that lane's working. Then just go down that lane. And that doesn't work. It almost always is a fail. And the other thing that people forget about is who's your audience? Is your audience
100%?
Is your audience, male, female, what age? And is that, and you almost have to look at population too, because if the average age is 34, but the next group there's half as many 34-year-olds coming in the next 10 years. Okay, well then who do we need to appeal to?
Yeah.
Right? Our generation's one of them. Gen X is there's more people above us and there's more people below us, that generation. So you had to market to a different age group because that age group's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Right.
So when we were coming, it was basically when we were coming up, you couldn't market to us because there wasn't enough people in our age group to hold your sales.
Yeah.
Right. So that's when you've seen companies almost fail or probably fire 15 marketing people.
Probably.
Levi's,
yeah.
Even Matchbox and Barbie and stuff, probably fired 18 different marketing people because sales are down.
Yeah.
Well, no, the reality was there's half as many kids that time.
Yeah.
That was when the old days when we were done during that time where you didn't have as much immigration. So there wasn't many. It was the Reagan era, I think, wherever it was, that didn't have as much immigration. So there's not as many of us. So you have to pay attention to that too. Is it getting more females? Okay, well, we need to market towards more females because more females are getting into the wrap industry. More people are getting into the design.
Yeah.
So you have to pay attention to your demographics too.
The other big one too is if you're looking at any advice online, right? They're using really broad marketing groups, right? So they're talking about people that are selling consumer electronics, right? These markets are massive, right? So they're we put out an ad and we got 100,000 views on our ad and we generate this much in sales. I think you have to realize, especially if you own a sign shop, right? And your territory is we want to sell in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Perfect example, right? The market's not that big, to be honest with you. You're talking about what's the population of Grand Rapids? That's not your audience, right? Your audience is business owners in Grand Rapids, which is not that many people, right? If I put out an ad, a good one, and it hits, let's say 300 ideal customers, you're oh, that's nothing, right? It's 300 people. What good is that going to do me? How much your business would change if you got, let's say 8%. You got 3 big customers from that. Say you got any of the local chains, right? I don't know any of the ones off the example, Jersey Mike's just put in a new one, Chipotle just put in a new one. You get any of those big regional chains, that would completely change your business. We're talking about one customer, right? We don't need 300 of them. Yep. And it's the same with this podcast, right? The total views we get. Do you want to come on?
Judy's standing at the window. We got a microphone or something?
We got one.
She's going to walk away.
She doesn't want to come on.
She's waiting on me. She's waiting on me, so.
Oh.
We're only 2 minutes in, it says.
Okay, let's go.
I started it wrong. So anyways, if your target audience isn't that big, then you don't really need to have a large footprint. This podcast is a perfect example, right? If we look at the total views per episode, it doesn't seem like that many overall. But anytime we do shows, it's the only thing we hear about.
Right.
Yep. We don't hear about oh yeah, you guys ran some great sales, and we send that out to, what's our email list now? A lot, right? We send out to a lot of people. No one ever mentions the emails we send out, which go out to way more people. They only mention the podcast, and it doesn't go out to that many people, right? Total overall. But it's so specific and so niche down that it just resonates with the people that you need it to. So a lot of times it's not, hey, how many people can I talk to? It's hey, can I talk to only the right people in as small of a group as humanly possible?
Are you looking for a big number, or are you looking for your target people?
Yeah. And that's what Coca-Cola is looking for, right? They're looking for hey, I need to see as many people as humanly possible to see this ad, right? Because everyone is my customer. That's not your goal. If you're listening to this podcast, your goal is not to appeal to the masses. It's just not. Your goal is to, but I have this very specific audience and I need to find out how to meet them.
And I was going to say that, usually you have to think outside the box. So, different ideas. That's why when it comes to a marketing team or a marketing campaign, you got to think outside the box. You can't just specifically say that this is who I want to target, because if you open that box up a little bit and target different areas of what you're trying to do, that could open up doors for everything.
Yeah.
And then you'll find another niche. And that's kind of what happened to us. And I think that you just gotta look at it that way as well.
And knowing who your audience is too. Like, I mean, with 12 Days of Christmas last year, right? We're poking fun at our competitors without ever mentioning their name. And everyone that sees the video knows who we're talking about, right? We don't have to say a word, but we know who our audience is and we know who our competitors are in the space. And so we're making videos that are like intentionally like, hey, we know these are the problems you have with our competitors. So let's
that's what we hear. We hear it all the time.
Poke. And I think of it, even them reach out and they're like, that is hilarious, right? They're like, that's
even they do.
Yeah. They're like, that's so funny.
Well, then when they ask, are you going to bring it back? Are you going to bring our guy back? Like, yeah, we'll probably bring him back.
Yeah, exactly.
But I look at it like the old, I loved those old commercials when Coke would go at Pepsi and Pepsi would go at Coke. You know, where like, remember the guy he buys a Pepsi and then stands on the Pepsi so he can reach the Coke
as a little kid.
Yeah. Like that's the kind of stuff.
That's a great commercial.
And that's when we started doing that. It's like, oh, I wish they'd come. Sometimes I wish they'd come back at us, but they're a little more corporate than we are. But like, there's things they can make fun of us for, without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and we'd sit there and smile.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, I've seen videos of like they put out of me internally, but like nothing that's been.
I mean, we give our competitors way more fuel than they give us, to be honest with you. We're a little bit more out there. Our videos are a little bit crazy, over the top and insane, and so they're not for everybody. They're not supposed to be for everybody. That's kind of the whole point, right?
No, we have a lot of fun, and we do it a little different where we're not holding back. I guarantee the other marketing teams at these other competitors are like, hey, we want to do that too, and they're like, no.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah. Obviously, you guys are planning videos with even me, like even knowing about them that are going to make fun of me. So
yeah, that's the goal, a little bit at least. So yeah, so if you're a competitor and you also wanted to launch a podcast, we're sorry for stealing your thunder, but hopefully you can find a way to do it on your own. Okay, I think that covers that one. The next question is, what is the sales volume of your ideal client? I don't know who this question comes from either.
That's hard.
That's very hard because of the business.
Yep.
You have to, there's different tiers.
We got to bring that 500-pound machine today into some lady's basement.
Yeah. Down a hill.
Down a hill. Not paved.
Across the grass, 500 pounds. And apologize if she's listening, but I'd already told Tater if he gets stuck on the hill, click traction control off the truck, put it in four-wheel drive and put the pedal to the ground and get out of there. Yeah. And she can fix her lawn in the spring.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be aware that's what's going to happen, right?
I mean, especially when you're sending 24-year-old kids to do this.
Yeah, it's not an easy install, but yeah, I mean, we've talked about this on probably 5 different episodes at this point, right? Like our bread and butter is small to medium size, right? But we have a lot of customers that start at the lowest possible tier we can get them in at, right? We're putting them into used machines, BN20s, and trying to get them to scale up from there.
Right.
Like, is that customer at the bottom our ideal customer?
No.
The answer is no. Like, if you're listening to this, we're not trying to offend you. What we're saying is we want you to scale.
Yeah, we want you to grow.
So we want you to come in low, and we want to build the business with you, which we've done with dozens and dozens of customers. Like, off the top of my head, I could probably go through 6 of them at least. And
you need the big customers for volume, but most of the big customers for volume, you're not necessarily making as much money. But you're helping your overall spend. So like your price can come down, your rebates or whatever you have. But like the reality is, they're also a lot of them are a pain in the butt to work with. I mean, just a pain.
It's funny because it can go both ways, though. You can get some that are, and some that you'd never hear from again.
Yeah.
I mean, we have some of our biggest shops. Like when I was in sales, some of my biggest customers, I never even talked to them. Not because I didn't want to. I would reach out, and the response was always the same. If we need you, we'll reach out. We're fine. Like, we know what we're doing here. Yep. Don't worry about us. Mm-hmm. And then you can get it on the other end, which we talked about in the last episode in terms of people that think they're entitled to everything in the world, right? Because they're like, hey, look at us.
Because I'm the customer.
Yeah.
Look how big we are. We need to do this or that. And like,
no, you need to be here tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah. But we say that also knowing that, like, we've done some things that on the back end, when we look back later for these big customers, like, that was not a good idea, right? I mean, we've done some stuff that's like, you know, the amount we spent on deliveries and shipping and
manpower.
Like, up front, it looked like a great idea.
We just did that to a customer.
100%,
we basically just walked away from,
$250,000
a year.
We'll help you, but we can't do this.
We're losing money.
Yeah.
And
which seems, on their end, seems insane, right? They're knowing what they're spending, and you're like, what do you mean you're losing money? You're like, I don't think you understand the cost that goes into some of this.
People don't understand. There's people we've bought that, like, okay, well, if you lose money on every sale, You don't make it up in volume.
Yeah, negative $100 times 50 is still negative money, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, like I remember when we bought that company in Chicago, like they said, no, we always ship this for free. I'm like, you're shipping a $200 sheet. That's their cost. And it costs us $300 to ship it. Like, where do we make money? Well, that goes into a different account. Like, no, it's all the same money.
You mean the negative account?
Yeah, like, and that's how they did their accounting. Like, it was their cost of goods sold, and then their shipping. Freight was not across from each other.
Oh man,
So
sales
like,
be making bank over
sales
there,
guys loved it because they weren't paid.
ship
They
it
weren't
every
paid
day.
off that.
Wow.
And
Who needs
so
delivery? Just ship it all.
Yeah,
ship
just
it.
ship
We
it.
have a customer. We have a competitor that does that.
Yeah.
yeah, they did.
Might
ship.
show up damaged too.
Yeah, that company did ship something like 3 miles from one of our other locations. A 5x10 sheet. One 5x10 sheet.
Good for them.
3 miles from another location. I'm like, wake up, guys. Like, there's more to this than just one. But
Yeah,
but
that's
that's the stuff when you open a new location, you just have to be there. They don't know. Right?
Yeah.
Well, you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, 100%.
And there's a reason that we're there. Right? When they're like, oh no, we always do it this way. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah. To go with that question, the next question is, we're not going to have an exact answer for this one, but what is the lifetime client value?
What do you mean lifetime client value?
So what is it one customer worth over the course of Wensco's history?
Well, Horvath ain't worth crap.
It depends how many times they call you. That's what you're trying to get at?
Yeah. I did leave him stranded. Did he say anything yet? Horvath, if you're listening to this, I apologize. Because I said, oh, I'm going to be there on I think it was Thanksgiving morning. Because he needed something. I think it was Thanksgiving morning. I said, I'll be there. I'll call you. Forgot. Didn't write it down. Forgot.
Hey, I got him his role yesterday, so he's happy.
Oh, he needed, what did he need?
He needed a role from General Formulations.
I think that's what he called me about. I said, I'll check and see what we got.
We didn't have it.
Well, then I wouldn't have been able to help
Chicago
him
had
anyways.
a lot of them, but we didn't have any here. But I thought it was funny because I gave him a sample. And then he was like, sweet, can I have it? And I was like, nope. Whoops, my bad. Should have paid attention to that before I gave you the sample, but it is what it is. Anyways, we got the roll though.
It's just a teaser.
Big shout out General Formulations, because luckily we just drove there and picked it up.
Yep.
So
We so the total value, it depends on the customer, but we try to keep we obviously don't try to make anybody mad, but then in the same aspect, like you don't want to lose money in every sale too.
yeah.
Like there's sales that we walk away from consistently, where it's just like, no, that price ain't right. Like, and you get the ups and downs when you have new sales reps come in, especially when you have companies that constantly fire their sales reps and start new ones. Because they want to come in, make a big name. All of a sudden, all they're doing is dropping their price, and we ride the storm. Like no, like go ahead, get it from them. Like order me a couple rolls too.
I mean, to give you an idea, with this, I guarantee you that our lifetime value is higher than probably our top 3 or 4 competitors. I can think of maybe 2 that probably have maybe have the same customer retention that we do. If you just look on, literally go on any of the Facebook groups and just search Wensco. Just look up the name Wensco and see how many negative things people say about us, right? And then do the same thing with all of our competitors. And I guarantee you ours is less, because I look at all of them. I look at all of them pretty much every day.
Shipping problems, anybody that ships.
Yeah, we've definitely made people mad, right? Yeah. And it's sometimes it is 100% our fault, right? We mess things up. I'm not saying we're perfect. But what I'm saying is we hold on to our customers probably far better than most of our competitors do.
And that's where I've made some of my best friends is we screwed something up. We shipped something on a Thursday. They got it late on a Friday from UPS. It's wrong ink. I'm like, I'll be there. I'll literally be there and drive 2 hours, drop it off. That now becomes you're the greatest person ever. Right. I'm like, we're only the greatest person ever because we screwed up.
Yeah.
But that's how they and we'll do that
They'll
stuff.
Remember that. They won't remember
our model here. We fix same day. If we find out about an error, we try to fix it same day every single time. Yep. No matter what it is. Tater's right with me. Jason, Rich, all those guys are right with me where it's let's fix it same day. Let's get it done right now.
And shipping is expensive.
Shipping is expensive.
Know that when we fix it and we got to ship it to you, it's not cheap.
And there's times where okay, well, I can, because all our phone calls are recorded. So oh no, I ordered this, and I can go back and listen to it. I'm no, they didn't.
Yeah.
And then we got to have it next day air, and then I accidentally ship it wrong, so it just goes out regular ground.
The weirdest one is when the customer service rep named Webb places the order wrong. That one's always the weird ones to me.
Yeah.
Like, I ordered this one. You guys shipped me the wrong one. It says Webb placed an order for this product. So I don't know what to tell you on that one.
Can I speak to Mr. Webb?
Yeah. Is Mr. Webb available? Yes. Do you want to just take the phone and put it on your other ear real quick? You'll be able to talk to him.
But yeah, we do retain. I mean, I think there's some suppliers that have found that out. Like Wensco customers are Wensco customers.
Yeah.
Like if we don't sell your brand, they're going to buy whatever brand we sell, no matter what, no matter how strong you think your brand is, they're going to buy from us. And more people have learned that over the last couple of years than anybody else. One recently has probably learned that.
Yep.
That, we were selling one module, now we're selling a different one. And all you had to do is say, hey, stop buying this one, buy this one. And there's a lot of people didn't have to show them to. Just, okay, no problem.
Yeah, there's people that got thrown out of shops for trying to switch. So our customers threw other people out of shops. So that's kind of the customer retention we're talking about here is people that are so far on Wensco's side that's like, no, we're not even having this conversation.
Well, how many of our customers have their name right on their building too?
Quite a few.
Quite a few of our customers have our name right on their front door building.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, literally.
I like the ones when I say Wensco deliveries.
Yeah, it'll say UPS, FedEx, Wensco. Those are the 3 logos on the door. That's the best.
That's the best. Yeah.
Which is funny now. They probably should put Amazon on there because that's probably the next one. But yeah, that's pretty awesome on that side of things. The next one kind of goes in that. We don't have an exact answer for this one. We can just talk about it in general. What do you think your acquisition cost is for gaining new clients? Or how do we gain new clients, I guess is how I would also word it. So I can tell you on our side, like in terms of, so we can run reports. Domingo sends me these people that email me or email him and I every single day. That's like, hey, do you want to see what your competitors are doing? We can do that too, right? I know how to do it. I don't need someone else to do it for me. I know for a fact we run the least ads out of any of our competitors that I know. There's one exception. The same one you actually talked about earlier. They would be the exception. They don't run a lot of ads. The one you talked about that said was putting out good videos and then stopped.
Yeah.
But the other ones all put out way more ads than us. I mean, they put ads on our stuff.
They still do.
They're using Wensco as a keyword to run their ads.
Yes.
And we're well aware of that. Like I get it. So that on that side of things, we're not really running ads. We may do specific ones. We just talked about the area that we're trying to grow in that we need to, which we'll probably run ads for that. But a lot of it is just organic, social, and shows. Which shows is expensive.
And door to door.
100%.
Like cold call stuff, like drive by, like look at it, and we have a huge list of people that like, they try to go through their list, every other year or whatever. Yeah. Like there are hundreds and hundreds of customers, but like a lot of it's door to door. Like I run into stuff like all the time. Like I'm always looking, like, me, like I'm looking, wait, they got to have a printer here. And like it's a gift shop. Start walking around the back. Next thing I know, I'm in their back room. Like I was just shopping. Now I'm in their back room, looking at their printer, talking to the operator.
Yep, looking at the boxes.
Yeah, it's Saturday afternoon. I'm looking at like, oh, you guys have.
Hey, tell me about this machine.
Where'd you get this? I walked in Lander, Wyoming. Like I said, they got to be flatbed printing this. Like this is just like a little tourist town in the Rocky Mountains. And next thing you know, I'm in the back talking to the owner about upgrading software and everything else, and like what he's using and when he needs an X printer. It's like,
and we're not even going to sell him one.
And and even that's not even our market, but like who can do it? Like, and he's asking who can do it and who can't do it. And
yeah, it's awesome.
So, and he had JDS's mugs in there. I know where these mugs come from.
Yeah. Met those guys. Yeah. I think it's funny when like, I'll just be like driving around. I'll do that same thing. You just like come across somebody you've never heard of before, right? It'll be like some of them even are like the window people, like the people that are doing like the architectural window stuff now. If I see any of those buildings, I'm always like, oh, I probably should put a note about this. And then you'll go to log it for someone to look at later and then realize there's already notes in for that customer. You're like, dang, got them again. Nice one, guys.
Yeah.
Like there's just one, there's a window place here. It's literally like just down the road on Jupiter, Post, whatever road it is at that point. There's a window place back there. And I thought, shoot, I should probably tell somebody about this. We'd already been there. So we're under control. I
did the same thing and I kind of went, hey, Steve, have you seen this? Have you talked? I saw this company on this road. I'm not going to mention it, but it's, hey, and he's like, oh yeah, I hit them already. I already hit them and I'm going to hit them again next week.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
I remember when we were starting the UP run, Tater was pretty young then. And I'd send him in first with the catalog. Like, cause he'd ride with me once in a while. Like, so we'd be up in the UP. I'd send him in first with the catalog.
That's
funny. So he'd walk in, like, hand the new Wensco catalog to somebody, and then I'd come in. But yeah.
Yeah, we're not doing a lot of like big spend outreach on our marketing, and we get new customers every day. So
yeah. For the most part, the new people that are starting up, like, you don't have, you know, a 60-year-old man starting a sign shop that doesn't understand the web. You got a 20-year-old kid that's starting a sign shop, understands the web. And if you understand the web, you're going to find us in a heartbeat. Yeah. Like, it's not going to be a problem.
Like for you guys that are listening to this and own sign shops, like if you don't have like your Google listing figured out, get that figured out. That sends us more leads than anything in the world. And that's free. We don't have to do anything. All we do is have our location set and our hours and our contact information in pictures. That's all you need.
Wait, I got to add something else for the businesses. Have a good website and social media.
Oh, please. We should talk about this specifically right now, actually.
Specific. Yeah.
Social media. If you guys do not have any social media, you need one because, okay, so the first thing, so if you're looking for a restaurant, okay, let's give this example. If you're looking for a restaurant, what's the first thing you look at? What's the first thing you look at if you're looking for food?
Everybody looks to see the ratings.
Yeah, the ratings.
Thank you.
What the ratings are.
Step one. So if that's good, what do you guys typically do next? This may differ for everybody, but for me, it's one thing.
But real quick, when I'm looking for food, I usually go to the health department and look for the lowest score because that's usually the best food.
That's a good call. Yeah. That's a pro tip.
Yeah, that's a pro tip. You want good food. You may get sick once in a while, but your food's awesome.
Yeah, look for some really, like, you really are actually, he's filtering about like 3 to 4 stars. He doesn't want anything lower than 3. He doesn't want anything above 4.
I want 2 or 1 or been closed down recently.
Recently reopened from the health department.
Recently reopened.
That's what he's
We have a
looking for.
10-day window before they come back.
Yeah. So on my side of things, the second thing I'll do after reviews is I'll either look at their menu or I'll look at their social media. Those are the 2 things I'm looking at. I'm going to say, like, what are you guys doing? Like, is this like a legit place? And it's the same with, like, if you're looking for somebody to come and like look at your furnace, right? If I go and I look up your name and the only option is call, I'm not even going to call you. Like, if you don't have a website or social media, I can't even look you up. I'm not just calling some random dude, right? It's just not going to happen. And all that is just social validation. So if you don't have that stuff set up, you should. Second, please post your work. I don't know why you guys aren't doing it. Like, we're here trying to come up with content ideas every day, right? You're like, what are we going to post today, right? What am I going to post? The van getting loaded? Like, that's not content. You guys have something to post every day. You're working on stuff every single day. Some of it, I'm sure you can't post. You're under NDAs or whatever, but the majority of it you can post, and you guys aren't. It takes you 2 seconds, right?
Right.
When the project gets done, take a picture of it in your shop or take a picture of it once it gets on the building. Hey, look at this new job we did. People on LinkedIn are getting gobs of business this way, right? They're just posting their work. That's all they're doing. It's just the easiest thing of all time.
Give a shout out to Metro Signs and Lighting.
Metro Signs and Lighting, yes, on LinkedIn.
Everywhere.
On LinkedIn specifically, huge. They're massive. And I guarantee they get the majority of their business through there. It's just, hey, this is what we did today. And then they just scale, right? They're just doing bigger and bigger and bigger projects for bigger customers who just, if you're looking for a sign shop to do something, right? If you are, like we did earlier, if you're Chipotle and you're looking for a customer to do your signs, you're not going to use a small guy because it's too big of a risk for your company. And the only way you're going to get to that size is if you have social proof for people. So if you're not posting your work, you should be posting everything. I don't understand why you're not. It's free content.
It's so fast and so easy.
You got a phone, take a picture.
Take a picture.
The third thing that I look at is the hours. Can I make it? Can I get there in time?
Yeah. How many times have you Googled family farm and home hours? Oh, they're open till 8.
Yeah.
Mine is like Home Depot and Lowe's. You're looking at it like, think I can still make it?
Yeah. Well, we talked about this earlier. I'm looking for a very specific boot, Chelsea boot. I'm looking for a very specific one. So I Google it. And like most of the shoe shops that would have it do not have a website. Yeah. It's called Troyer's Boots. It's in Fremont. It's like from 18 something. No website. No, nothing. Like you have to walk in there. And the actual one that I actually went to was in downtown Fremont. And it was the Al Bundy our shoe store where you walk in, he measures your shoe and tries it up. But like he didn't have the exact boot, but he had a good boot. But like I'm still looking for this specific boot. And I don't want to buy it online because I want to try it on because it's Ariat or whatever. And they're supposed to run big. I want to try the actual boot on.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can't find it. Like, because most of these shoe stores, unless you're...
Did you try Mirrors?
Unless you're Boot Barn.
I think you should go to Mirrors.
Boot Barn. Yeah.
They'll have it.
Mirrors.
Mirrors.
That's my next, like most of the places that have the specialty boots like that don't have websites.
Yeah.
So like if you want to kill it, have a specialty boot store, put a good website.
Yeah.
You run everybody out.
Yeah.
Because
And if you want to
you can't find it.
kill it in signs,
And easy to use.
just have social media and you'll beat out 25, 30, 40% of your competitors.
And I
just
wasn't
by
looking
having
to buy
social media.
online. I just want to know if they have it.
Yeah.
Or even if they have
exactly.
that brand.
Yeah.
Like when you don't even
Yeah.
show your brands, like, and that's the thing, like it's so much better. Like in sign shops, same way. Like
Yeah.
show your work, show your stuff,
Yeah.
show what
Yeah.
you can do.
Especially when it's something like specialty, right? Like if you're looking for like big channel letters, right?
Yeah.
What you don't want to do is call 10 sign shops and be like, hey, can you guys make me 14-foot channel letters? Like, because not everyone can do it, right? So then it's like, well, this is going to be a waste of my time to call. I got to wait. The person that answers the phone may not even know the answer to my question versus like, hey, I saw you guys did a project for Fifth Third Bank, right? They did this
Yeah.
huge sign. Obviously, you can do my project too then. So, hey, can you guys do this project? Let's quote it. But if you don't have that social proof, they're probably not even going to call.
Yeah, and post
That's what we talk about
all
with
the
our
different
website.
stuff you do. Like,
Yeah.
like if you if you're the sign shop and you also tint windows,
absolutely.
post tinted windows.
Yeah.
Because some people will go to the tint guy, get their windows tinted, and then come over and get their car wrapped. And it's like, wait, you could have done all at the same place.
And if
But
you do-
but they don't know it's a sign shop. That's a tint shop.
And if you do neon, also please post your work because I still haven't gotten my neon sign.
The
We have neon.
yeah, Bob.
Bob never gave me my sign.
It was funny when I was at that shoe store. The guy's like, "Hey," like he showed me his neon sign. It wasn't working very good. I'm like, I'm probably gonna go in there and fix it for him. But he's like, a guy named Ian. I'm like, I know who that is.
Yeah,
And he's
exactly.
like, repaired this. I said, when? He was telling me when. I said, I guarantee it was Ted because Ted used to work for him.
Yeah.
So like, I guarantee Ted, who now is DTR, fixed that sign umpteen million years ago.
Yeah.
And he's like, the neighbor has one too. So I walked over to the neighbor, like, yeah, a guy named Ian stopped and.
That's funny.
So
there's
like,
only 5 of them in Michigan, so it's pretty easy to track them down
yeah,
at this
so
point.
it's just like I know exactly who you talk to, and I know
Yeah.
who probably actually
But
fixed it.
That's the thing, right? There's so few people doing like big channel letters that aren't subbing out that work, and there's so few people doing neon. So if you're doing that type of work and
you
people
can
don't
show
know about it,
and you can show it.
then you should be posting it because
Yeah.
that's the only way you're going to get more business that way. So,
Yep, I agree.
but that was a really big tangent for I don't even know
Sorry.
what the initial question was, but oh, this is for Domingo. Look at that.
All right, go.
What KPIs do you use to test the level of quality of your products and order fulfillment? Actually, 2-part question.
Well, there's definitely a testing process that we do with adhesive. So basically, we print on the well, it depends on what the product is that I'm testing. But if it's like a vinyl, we're going to print on it. We're going to print on EcoSolvent, UV, basically all of them. Even though they've already tested it, but we are in different environments. So they're in a controlled environment. We're kind of semi-controlled, but I kind of put them in everywhere. So in the warehouse where it's colder, outside, I put it on inside. I mean, you probably see some of the ones that are sticking on the cross beams here and just testing the adhesive to see how long it lasts. I definitely want to see how it adheres to whatever that may be, a wall, or if it's a glass product, put it on the glass, test the ink saturations, what the colors that I'm going to get out of it, even the sun, because we have a building that is actually in different areas of the sun. So, I mean, to me, those are some of the key metrics that I use is the adhesive. What kind of, is it acrylic adhesive? I mean, we could go on and on about the products, but there are certain testings that we like to do before we can even bring the product on, because some machines will say that it can do it, or it may not, it'll fail. And there's been, take for instance, we had some fluorescent.
Yeah, that's what I was
that
gonna say.
I put on my car and drove it around, and my wife's like, what's on your
Just
car?
one little square.
It's just a little square. And I'm like, honey, I'm testing the product. She's like, get that off. It's like, I have to test the product.
Yeah.
So I tested it there. I tested it outside the window here. I tested it indoors. And before they said it was 6 months, I had a week. I brought another swatch out. And I'm like,
It was like 30% dimmer after 1 week.
but no,
So we don't sell that product.
They said it would be 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's like,
So we test it pretty good.
we test it. We
And
have
then
to test the product.
The other side of that question is we also look into how do you have to buy and how
Yeah.
often you have to buy and what do they want us to stock? What
Yeah.
shouldn't we stock? And a lot of times we'll say, hey, we only want these 3 products because you don't want to stock 15. Like there's a fight for shelf space in our warehouse.
100%.
So like you have to be, but we always look at like, okay, well, free freight's how much? Free freight's $4,000 at a time. Okay, we could do $4,000 at a time. Yeah. Free freight's $25,000. Nah.
Yeah, for one product.
And we can do it company wide, but like per location, like that's someone you have to have one big customer to handle that. So
yeah, 100%.
So and I guess another thing that comes into play is that we also want to carry if we're going to bring on a product like you say, the 3, we're looking for the top sellers, the top Google searches, the top. We don't want to market it. Yeah, we want the vendors to market it, put it in play, do whatever they got to do. But we want to be the people to have that product. So in case a customer calls and says, hey, I want a roll, we can get them that roll.
Yeah.
They need to do that.
I think about it in terms of like what we can do really good is a product that's already selling well. We can make sure customers are getting it. What I don't think we can do well is take a product that's at 0, right? And get it to whatever the goal is, right?
We don't have the biggest platform.
If it already has good traction, we're a real good partner for that, right? If you're trying to be like, hey, we're bringing in this new product. Okay, what's your marketing strategy? We don't really have one. We're hoping you guys will push it. I have 16,000 other products we could push, right? I don't need to bring on another one to try and sell it for you.
I'll give you an example. And I know I should probably say this, but I'm going to. We have a heat transfer product that their marketing team was solid. They were doing all kinds of videos. They were pushing the product, and we brought it in. We started moving the product. Those 2 gentlemen left, and all of a sudden they stopped doing the marketing. They stopped doing the awareness, stopped pushing, stopped doing everything. So what are we going to do? We started to try to help and market that product, but we're not gaining all of their market share. Yeah. So it's very tough.
Huge following when they left, and then just left it there. And that goes back to where I talked before. Like the CEO of that company didn't see immediate results. Like, okay, well, how much did that post make? How much did this make? And then end up getting rid of those guys. Kind of. There's other stuff probably going on, but like the reality is, you stopped your social media, you stopped all your momentum, and then you tried to restart it with somebody else who never restarted it, and now you're failing in the U.S.
Yeah.
Basically. So it's like, and that was just like 2.
And they listened to the podcast.
Well, you know what? It's time.
Well, it's a reality of it.
Regenerate it.
You
Let's
had
get that going.
Hundreds of thousands of views on your stuff every single week.
Yeah.
That's how we found them.
But you didn't realize that, like,
that's how we found them.
Yeah.
Well,
I literally, before we brought them on, I saw them on TikTok. That 100% is the truth.
Yeah. Remember we posted something back.
And you said, or somebody brought up like, hey, we're trying to bring on this company. I was like, I literally just saw their video like 2 days ago. I was like, yeah, sure, bring them on. Like, this is easy for us.
But that was where, like I said, a CEO or whatever didn't see real value in what they were doing, but there was real value in, but you can't quantify every post or every, like, okay, this section's getting this, but it was creating a huge awareness where people were asking for that brand because they'd see them on TikTok, and they were making some funny stuff on TikTok.
They were
like they were right with us when it came to like
right on the line.
We're exactly right. We flirt that line of like, are we being more corporate or are we being a little out of control?
Is this business acceptable? We're trying to be as close to that line as humanly possible.
Should we start a TikTok that like crosses that line?
We talked about starting TikTok for so long.
I don't know if I answered the second question.
The second one was,
or did we already answer it?
We kind of answered.
Do we test the level of quality on our order fulfillment? Was the other question.
Oh, so deliveries?
Yeah, deliveries. If somebody orders it,
we got a video coming up.
So we have
top secret.
Oh no,
that was fine. You can know about that one, but
everybody's required to send me and Desmond every air. Not everybody does it. But it's amazing when you're talking about, like, you talk to the sales reps. Oh, they're making airs nonstop. That's what's happening. That's what's not happening. I said, okay, send us the airs. And you get like 2 that happened last week. They'll send you. And then all of a sudden you don't get any. You don't get any. I'm like, I'll call them. Hey, you're not sending me your airs. I haven't really had any. Wait a minute. If we were making someone said, we're making 15 a day. Yeah. I'm like, okay, send them to me. And then you got 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. So we know we're over 99% because we do so many orders every day. But I'm also not the guy that's like, I want it perfect every time. Like, because you can make it perfect every time. Yep. You can make every delivery perfect, but what does that cost you? Versus
people and time.
And I'll load with those guys as, oh, we got 99%. Or I'll even say, we got 95%. Get moving. because I could stop. We could waste, not waste their time, but like pay that extra to like hold them, make sure it's perfect. But the reality is, for as many mistakes as we made, we can spend that money fixing that mistake. And it's sometimes inconvenient for the customer, but it'd also be inconvenience if we ran behind. Like we try to get 80% of our deliveries done by noon. And if we try to make it perfect, we're not going to get 80% done by noon. And in reality is we'll probably still make a mistake. But we're not looking to be absolutely perfect every delivery. I mean, we're trying to, but like we're not taking that extra step to make sure we're perfect every time. We're trying to get 95 to 99% of that truck loaded every time. And for the most part, we have good drivers that like they get it right. Like we have a good process, but there's times you can pick up an Illumilite and you thought it was a multi-panel, and you just like in your mind you're like, oh, I need a multi-panel. You grab a Illumilite, put it on, and like it's in your mind like, oh, I must put the right sheet on. And the reality is you get there like, oh no, like I knew it was multi-panel. Like you even look at multi-panel and then you go look at it like, oh crap. Yeah. But for the most part, our drivers are really good about like either they can fix it or the customer can help, or we'll call back and we will run it out same day. Like we'll run it out, like Tater be in the truck, run it out. So, but we do like most of our errors are UPS. And the funny part is, and I always talk to customer service about this, most of our errors are UPS outside of our area. Is it really our mistakes or is this scam stuff?
Yeah. Could
like,
be.
oh, this broke. Well, they know we're not going to ship it back.
Yeah.
And like, send me another one. Well, now they got two. So like, I always like question everybody. If you're buying a transformer and you're right next to Montroy in California, don't tell them to call. Stop. Yeah. Tell them to call Montroy.
Right.
Like we're not UPSing a 1530
transformer
all the way to Los Angeles when Montroy hasn't been stocked right there. Or even like we had I had one in Dallas. Like no. Resupply has them right there. Call them. Here's their number. Call them. They can probably deliver it, or you can go pick it up right now.
Yeah.
Like I don't want that sale. Like I shouldn't say I don't want that sale. I don't want to deal with the hassle of that sale.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's what we talk about at the shows too. Like when someone comes up, like we had this at Sign World where Jeremy Bryhoff, shout out Sign Comp, was laughing at me because he heard me give this sales pitch where the customer was in Dallas. Okay. Yeah. So they came up. And I was like, oh, where are you guys from? They're like, oh, we're from Dallas. And I was like, oh, yeah, I give him my pitch. We're based in the Midwest, full sign supply distributor, but we're based in the Midwest. He's like, oh, what value can you provide me then? I said, to be honest with you, about none. And he's like, haha, like thinking I was joking. I was like, you have like 4 of our competitors within 5 miles of you. Do you want me to ship it in? I was like, if you want me to, sure. But one of those is probably going to take care of you, to be honest with you. So could I ship it to you? Yeah, but do I want to? I mean, not really. Not if I don't need to. Like, no. I'm not trying to be rude to you. I'm just saying, it's way easier for me to get it wrong shipping it from here to Texas than it is for them to drive 2 minutes and deliver it to you.
Right.
Yep. So it's like I could, but I'd rather them do it.
I think that's one of the good things about Wensco too is we're not chasing every little sale.
No,
we do not chase every sale.
Yeah.
Like we're very, I don't know we're very conscious of like, okay, that's not worth it. Like that guy's not going to continue to buy from us.
Smart business.
Yeah, we're looking like, okay,
smart choices.
He wants a couple transformers, he wants a couple ballasts, and he's way in the middle of nowhere. Like you're going to find another solution at some point. Like there's no point like getting a couple, and we still do ship transformers all over the place. Like
100%.
Like because we stock them, and so we like there's a guy. He's actually I think Northern California that buys them all the time because we're the only ones that have them in stock. Literally, I looked around like even Montroy, Reese, Glance. I looked at all those guys. We're the only ones that had them in stock. And the only reason we have them in stock is because this guy's buying them from us. So it's like, should we, like, if he was right by somebody, I'd call them and say, hey, stock these. This guy buys them every 3 months. He buys 15 of this exact transformer.
Right. And it's not to say we don't want to ship it to you. We will ship it to you, but there's some stuff where it's the hassle of that sale isn't worth the effort, right? If we're shipping, we ship LED power supplies all over the place, right? They're lightweight, easy to ship. They don't really break. We'll ship them anywhere, right? I don't care if you're right next to our competitor. They ship easy. They don't cost much to ship. That's an easy one. But some of the other stuff, right? We're not going to ship lamps out to you, right? We just shipped out the stinking IR bulb things or whatever, and they busted immediately. Like big surprise there. Like it's just those stuff is not worth it. Like you're definitely losing money on the end of it. So, Yeah. So that's
All
kind of our motto. I really only have, I guess I have 2 questions. This one should be pretty short because the answer is no, but we can talk about it, I guess.
No.
Do you survey your clients? It should be customers, but I'll leave clients.
So we did years ago, I would send them out with the drivers. Like this is what got me in trouble actually, which was pretty funny now you think about it. So I put it out like, cause we were trying to grow. It was actually the Lansing area, and we ended up with a competitor because I was right. Like we were not servicing Lansing, Jackson, Flint area good at all. So I sent a thing out with the driver saying, "What can we do better? Who's your sales rep? What do you need? Do you need or do you need a contact by a sales rep? Blah blah blah." Because we're failing that area, and I said we're failing. I kept telling everybody here like we're failing, and I didn't have the power then. I was just a warehouse manager here in Grand Rapids. And I got in trouble for it because like, oh, you're calling out the sales rep. I'm like, well, maybe he needs to be called out.
Yeah.
Like maybe he need like, and with that, Alpine Sign Supply, sorry to shout out to them, but they started
Our
because
competitor.
they could see a gap. Like, how can we be right here an hour from them and they can start and be successful? It's because we let them. We literally let them because we weren't very good at what we were doing in that area with that at that time with that rep. And I could see it, but like that's when I surveyed all the customers. What can we do better? And the reality was we were delivering them once a week. Like we need delivery more than once a week.
Yeah.
Like now we deliver them 4 days a week, and we've got a lot of it back. But like, why couldn't we go there 4 days a week? Like, why couldn't someone see that? Like, and they were getting no visits from the sales rep, 0.
Well, on new customers, we actually look up a bunch of information on them.
Yep.
We kind of search whether they have a website, all that good stuff. I mean, I think that's kind of surveying your customer. I think there's always going to be opportunity everywhere, right? But you want that good opportunity. We're not saying that mom and pop shop couldn't grow to be big, right? But there's opportunities where there's mid-sized companies that want to give us a try us out for this type of product. But what we're looking for is to grab that customer and say, look, we have 18,000 other items that might fit into whatever projects you're working on. And I think that's where we grow that business and we grow with them. And that's kind of what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Well, and while we're talking about that, there's something we do better than all our competitors is your customer, if you're a sign shop, your customer will not get to see your pricing on our web. We will weed them out every single time. So when you sign up for a web account with Wensco, we will verify that you have sign equipment. If you don't have sign equipment, sign truck, like you're not an actual sign guy that's doing retail business. Signman, you will not see Signman pricing. You will see some inflated pricing. So if you're on our website and you got some crazy price, yeah, you're not a Signman.
You probably got set up under the wrong one.
I mean, and there's times, and to be honest, yeah, you could have got set up wrong, but like there's times where like
if you happen to be from Keller Williams real estate agents.
Yeah. Real estate people, like they don't get to see it. Pizza places, they don't get to see.
An exact example. Like if you are somebody who would just take business away from sign shops and you don't have any equipment, like we're not really interested in selling to you. We'd rather.
Yeah. Oh no, we'll sell to you, but it's just going to be at a higher price.
Yeah, like a Signacade.
Yeah, Signacade.
For like Joe Sign Shop down the street is like how much are they right now? 60 something.
They're on sale. What are they on sale for?
Oh, are we going to say it? No, can't say it.
Okay,
Christmas.
Anyways, they're around $70 or whatever. If you're
they're on sale. Oh, they were on sale last week.
If you're Tony's Pizza, you will buy that exact same Signacade for $285.
Yeah.
So like we can tell you, hey, it is cheaper to go to Joe's Sign Shop down the street and get something printed on the front than it is to buy it from us.
Yeah.
And we laugh sometimes when people come in here, they want to change their own bulbs and their own sign, and like a case of bulbs, $427. It's like we sell them $10 a piece to Signman, $427, and the warehouse guys will literally be
Home Depot's 5 times cheaper than us.
literally be laughing like it's fun. Like so yeah, we have to sell the public because we have pickup.
Yep.
So it's like our Michigan rules. So like, but we don't have to sell at the same price. Like
correct.
So yeah, if you're not a sign shop, if you're a sign shop, we do protect you. And if you get a customer that ever buys from us and didn't let us know, call us.
And our competitors don't do that.
Yeah, and our competitors are not.
They'll sell to anybody.
They're
selling against you.
Yeah, we're definitely the best. I would say we're the best in the country at that. We know people that are not Signman.
I get a lot of like inquiries from the web that are people that are like, hey, we signed up for an account. We can't see pricing yet. Can you guys work on that? Be like, yeah, we're doing our work over here. We'll let you know.
Yeah, we got people researching your company, what you have. We'll call you. You have sign equipment? Yes. What do you have?
We have a sales rep that will come out to you.
I have a Cricut. Nope.
Yeah,
that's craft equipment. That's craft equipment.
Yeah. So the other one in terms of do we survey them? The other thing we're looking at is kind of any changes in buying. So what we'll change our stocking levels. Like we literally just talked about this yesterday with Nextbond, where I was like, are we even selling any Nextbond? I was like, I don't see any orders. Then look, sure enough,
I'm like, yeah,
we're moving it, dude. It's like, but you don't know, right? You don't know what to stock unless you're gonna track that. So in terms of surveys, we don't necessarily need to reach out and ask anymore. We can check like drop ships and what people are buying and know what we need to stock. So
our system will allocate it. It'll automatically.
And we're a little more advanced in terms of like,
you need to bring that in.
Is there anything we should carry? Now we kind of have a pretty good idea based on a total customer amount of drop ships. Be like, hey, we're getting 3 of these a month. It's like, hey, probably should stock it rather than drop ship it. So
we're pretty sophisticated when it comes to our computer system, when it comes to ordering, and we're pretty sophisticated when it comes to our CRM. Yeah, like there's almost nothing we can't look up instantly.
Now it's awesome.
It's
we're just looking at it yesterday.
Yeah, and like I said, if it's drop shipped 3 times, it automatically tells Tristan, hey, you should stock 2 of these. Or you should stock 3 of these based off like all our formulas that we have. So if you buy something 3 times, like if you say, oh, every time I order, it's on back order, it's probably not true. Like, because at some point it's going to
catch up.
It's going to catch up. The computer will catch up. Or
you're the only one buying it and you're buying 1 every 3 months. And we can't stock it.
But even that, you give us a shout. We'll if you're going to continue to buy it, we'll put 1 in stock. We can override the system on some of those. And we do it for a lot of customers.
Yeah, if you have a big project coming up, people that are out there, if you got a big project and you need some rolls of a certain product, we have no problem with bringing those rolls in for you.
Yeah. This happens with like a good example of this is 3M, because they sell their material in like 17, one SKU, they'll sell in 17 different sizes and lengths, right? So you'll run into somebody who's like, yeah, we're buying the 300-foot rolls, and obviously we don't stock them. It's like, well, you just let us know. Like, well, we don't have a problem putting them on the shelf. I mean, the warehouse guys have a problem with us putting those on the shelf because they weigh 95 pounds. But if you buy it, like we'll put it on the shelf. It doesn't bother us at all. We got space for it. So that's kind of my pitch always whenever we do the shows is like, if you don't use us, look us up. If you do use us and there's anything you're buying from someone else and not buying from us, just let us know. We'll stock it for you.
Yeah. A good example is, I think it was years ago, it was FedEx there. I think it's their purple, where a guy's like, he just has to have it in stock.
Yeah.
Like, so like they would literally, if they scratch it or they get a new one, like he just has to be able to do it right away. But he'd only buy 1 every 4 months. We'd never have it in stock. And then he said, can you just stock 1 roll? Like, yeah, we can put a 124 by 10. Like, number 1, this customer, why didn't he just put it on his shelf?
Yeah.
Like it was a calendar, it's $12.
Yeah. Big. Speaking of that,
but the reality is we kept that $12 on our shelf.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I recommend that you stock products you use regularly.
Yes.
We will be here for you, but if you have it, it's better. So I just want to give a shout out to, he refers to it as Wensco West. It's Horvath shop. So if you need Avery product, Wensco West has it in stock. They got a lot of them. So he just called me. He literally texted me. He was like, yeah, I just had to restock up Wensco West over here. Just realized we're running low. So big shout out. You should totally do that. But yeah, anything you want stocked, we'll definitely put on the shelf for you. I mean, we'll do that on the other end of things too. Like we stocked it used to be another brand ACM panel, the beige, which was Costco's canopy color. And it was because those jobs would come up and need to be done so fast that we're like, all right, we'll put it on the shelf. It's a lot, right? We're talking, at one time we had like 1,000 sheets of beige because the job was pending, and then COVID delayed it. And we just had 1,000 sheets of beige just sitting here on the floor. He came back and used them all eventually.
Yeah, we'll get to them.
We stocked it all for him. Like, hey, if you have a job, you're serious about it. If you're like a new customer, there might be a little more difficulty, but if you're currently buying and you're like, I have this job coming, it's going to be a lot, I need it. If you give us a heads up, even better. We'll gladly put it on the shelf for you. So, the only question I have left, out of all the Q&A from that first time is, do you have a quote unquote machine you feel like can be revved up to gain new customers? Do we have anything, like if we really wanted to start?
Could we gain new customers? I don't know if there's a lot. I mean, yeah. I think the best way to get new customers for us is like
Open new locations.
or feet on the street. And I just had this conversation with Judy where she's like, we were talking about new customers, and I'm like, we can't, like, new places that don't know us, you can't, like, here you can go in like, hey, we're Wensco, like, why aren't you buying from me?
Yeah.
Like, but new locations, you can't do that. Like, you have to build that relationship. They're not going to buy from you. And we always tell our sales reps, like, get the first order. And for the most part, the drivers will take it from there because they care about that stop. Yeah. And our drivers are just different for the most part. In most areas, our drivers are just different. Like, we'll bring it to where you want to bring it. We'll talk to you. They're not just a delivery guy. They're not a UPS guy. Not the UPS guys are bad, but like, we're going to your shop. We'll talk to you. We'll see you around. So I think a lot of it's feet on the street. I think that comes down to our sales staff, like getting out there, building those relationships. Because I always say it takes 6-7 visits before that customer trusts you enough. And some of those visits are not like 6-7 meetings, 6-7 visits. Like, I've talked to you about it. Like, hey, I'm too busy for you. All right, man, I just want to let you know I'm still here. That's chalk it down.
Counts.
That's a visit.
Yeah. They know you care.
So that's how we're going to find new.
Especially right now. Like, we said this probably, again, this is probably mentioned 5 different episodes. So if you haven't seen your sales rep, not from our company, well, for our company too, we'd like to know. But if you're buying from one of our competitors and you haven't seen a sales rep in like 6 months, why don't you try and find out who it is? Because 1, it's probably someone different. And 2, they may not even be going out to see customers. So if you have questions and nobody's coming out to see you, maybe it's time to look at somebody who actually will send someone out to your shop. I'm not saying everyone needs that. There's someone out there.
Yeah, they're waiting for me. They're trying to, the truck, you can see it in the background.
But there's just a lot. If you haven't seen a rep and you have questions and you can't get a hold of anybody at your customer, it's probably because they're not sending them out anymore. A lot of them have laid off sales staff or straight up grounded them. They're not doing travel. They're only doing phone calls. There's only so much you're going to get from that, right? Like when we came out with United, the only way we can, it's probably on the camera.
It's probably on the camera. Terry just took his shirt off in the parking lot. Probably on camera. I don't know if
it's nice and warm outside too, so we'll blur it out. It'll be like a little
it's 20 degrees outside. He walked by. He's like, I took his shirt off and like did a little dance.
He's something else. So, it's just a lot of our competitors don't have people on the street. So that's kind of where we're
and we'll come help you.
Pushing.
Like I said, I'll say it again. What you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
Like you might think you know every product or you know everything that you're doing. You know you're doing right. You don't. But what you don't know, you don't know. Like we may come in and go like, hey, you could just do it this way. Like there's a guy on TikTok, like I can't say the word he says, but like it's always these like home remedy things. And he's like, oh, I could have done it that way. But he says some choice words. But the reality is like there's some of the things I look in there and like, wait, what? You can do it that way?
Yeah.
Like how you grade cheese and stuff. Like what?
Yeah.
And how you get 2 5-gallon buckets that are stuck together. Just put the air hose in it and blow the air in there and it pops right up. Like there's stuff like that, but that's what you don't know, you don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, with new products, you're never going to know about new products if they don't have people on the street, right? If they call you, hey, we got a new product. Cool. Can I see it? Can I touch it?
Yeah.
What good does it do me to tell me about it?
Yeah.
You're only going to see that if you have a sales rep that's visiting you, right? Like one of the questions we get to like at shows is like, hey, is there anything new and exciting? Like your rep should have already told you that. If they haven't told you that, then you probably need a new one, to be honest with you. But anyways, that's all the Q&A questions. If you have more questions, send them in too. It's on the screen if you're on YouTube. If you're on audio, go watch it on YouTube because I don't know what it is. Or it'll be in the product description. Podcast at Wensco.com. Asterisk on the S because I don't know if it's there or not. That was 2 long episodes, so we did more Q&A.
Yep.
So.
Sorry, Don, if we were too rough on you in the morning. If you're still listening, Don, thank you.
Big shout out, Don.
Thanks for these.
You should know that we're big Yeti fans. That's why.
Thanks for these shot glasses. Appreciate it.
They're Canadian 52 ounces.
Oh, they're Canadian.
Canadian.
Cokes.
Yeah, Canadian.
This is 52 ounce in Canadian. You didn't know that?
Oh, that's you're right. These are probably 32 ounce cups in Canadian size.
Yeah, they got a different ounce size there. I heard.
Yeah.
They're on the Canadian metric system up there or something. So anyways, hopefully you guys found this enjoyable. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about Wensco and appreciate you guys listening and subscribe. Send it to a friend and we'll see you in the next episode. So
thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. See ya.
Goodbye.